Hi, good morning everybody. Welcome to this morning's meditation. I hope you're all feeling rested this morning. I didn't sleep much again last night, maybe to do with the full moon, but there are just also lots of changes for me, so I'm getting used to what I'm now referring to as Buddha time, which is waking up between 3:30 and 5:20 most mornings. And it's really helpful actually. It helps me to be constructive and productive. So welcome to this morning's space. I hope you're all feeling good wherever you might be in the world right now. Please say hi and where you're tuning in from. And I'm going to share some things as usual with you again this morning, and we'll do some meditation as well. So I'm going to start by reading today's date from Opening Doors Within by Arlene Cuddy. And as most of you probably know now, this book was written by Arlene Cuddy, who founded the Findhorn spiritual community in Scotland. So today reads, how many times have I told you I need you free to do all that has to be done? When will you learn to let go and be free? You will never know the meaning of freedom until you are willing to let go. Have confidence that you can do it and take those first few struggling steps. Only you can do it. No one can do it for you. Are you afraid of what is around the corner? Afraid of what the future holds? Where are your faith and trust? Why not learn to live fully and gloriously in the ever-present now, and let me look after the future for you? I have wonderful things waiting for you when you are free and cease to cling to what you already have, because you are afraid of losing everything. Be willing to lose everything to gain something far, far greater. All is in my hands and all is very, very well. I think I'll open this book this morning. G. You Are You by Krishna Prem. And Krishna is a sannyasin, one who is initiated on the path of meditation, and he lived in the Indian ashram with Osho and wrote this book about his experiences there. So I've just opened it up, so we'll see. We'll see what it says. Morning Jane, morning Tony. Please say hi wherever you're tuning in from this morning. And please feel free to share this so that others can listen as well and tune in. I can't share it, unfortunately, until after the broadcast. Your parents will do all of this as they want the best for you. Right, maybe I should read the previous page a little bit. What we are talking about is a technique from the East that is called witnessing. What we want to do is watch ourselves. I watch me, you watch you. I am not going to watch you, you are not going to watch me. It's difficult at first. But let's put it this way. Just go inside your mind and just begin to watch. Is it my mind, or can I see my mind? Is it my feelings, or can I witness my feelings? For example, I ask you who you are, and most people that I meet in America always tell me their name. I say, no, 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 that's not what I want to know. And then they might say what they do for a living, or which religion they belong to. I say, no, 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 that's not who you are, is it? Is that who we are? So basically, you ask yourself who you are, and it will take some time before you can strip away that which has been given to you from the very beginning of your life here on planet Earth. You probably started at the 9 months in the womb, when your parents began to educate your education into how you should act in society in order to get along. How to trust, how not to trust, what you are wanting to do when you grow up, what school you're going to go to. You are absolutely Jewish. You are absolutely Christian. Please marry a Jewish girl, please marry a Christian girl, please marry a Protestant girl. Whatever conditionings your parents force-fed you with, this conditioning is still in you. In fact, as long as the conditioning exists, you are not you. You are not Guru. Your parents will do all of this as they want the best for you. They literally steal your life away from you and try to impose their reality with the best intentions. They want you to be like they want you to be, and of course it's very painful to look at the mind and find out that actually you are a product of your environment, that you are not at all a clear, brand new, alive being. So when I ask you who you are, I don't want answers based on any of this. I want you to be as naked as possible, because when you're totally naked, you are the truth. I would like to advise your truth right now, because what you said to me, to my reading, is an expression of life. Love yourself and watch. Often we begin to meditate because we don't love ourselves. We begin to watch, we begin to witness, and we start throwing out all of our conditioning. All these things we have just been talking about. Imagine that if you look into the mirror right now and say to yourself, my life up until this very moment has been and is going to continue to be bullshit. You can get pretty depressed over that today if you don't have the tool of witnessing, the tool of meditation to get through this. So at the same time as we are looking in a mirror saying, I am bullshit, you might look at how thrilled you are to find that you are willing to drop your bullshit. Drop the mind. Be here now. Love yourself and watch. This love word we are talking about now is love of yourself. So before you can go on sharing with everyone what a great thing you did by reading a book on meditation and becoming the witness and accepting your bullshit, begin with yourself. Don't share anything unless it's out of love. It's a very selfish thing, meditation. I think one of the reasons it's so difficult for us in the West to meditate is because we are taught to not be selfish. We have been taught to share and to give, and my God, how can you share and give if you don't feel good about yourself? How can you imagine what you are sharing when you don't love yourself? It's just the opposite with meditation. What we are saying is to be completely selfish, and out of this selfishness you begin to fall in love. And as you fall in love, there is no one to love. There is no you. You begin to see that you are silence, you are bliss, and as you come more from silence, your actions are neither right nor wrong, neither left nor right. They are just coming, and you are sharing, and you begin to love the other for who they are, because they are in the same movie as you are. They are human beings, and they may be totally dressed in conditioning still.
You may have dropped your concept of religion, yet you can't expect everyone else at that same time to drop their sense of religion. And you know this feeling when you become naked, you begin to love everyone for who they are. So out of this selfishness, out of this desire to be honest and true to yourself, the self tends to fall away. And when you come out from this space, it's called compassion. You start to see that the other people are in their very own process. They are doing their best to get through this day. The only difference is that you are beginning to wake up. And as you begin to wake up, you don't shit on the people that are asleep. You have compassion for them, and you have a little prayer saying, my God, I hope they go inside, that they are willing to wake up, that they are willing not to lay their life on everyone they meet. I told you the story about this too shall pass. Everything is coming and going. Your life is coming and going. There is nothing you can hold on to. I think it came a lot through the hippie generations in America, that change is the only thing that's permanent. So this king meditated on this too shall pass, and it's one of the things that I meditate on, sometimes in my own life, because we always want to fall in love forever. And the only thing I want to say about relationship is that this too shall pass, and it's spelled too. All relationships are here to teach us. All relationships are here to pass. So I know that when you read a book about meditation, you are always praying for a miracle. You are always saying, if I read this book, my relationship will work, and I will live happily ever after with my beloved. In fact, it may be true, but I haven't seen many examples in the East, in the West, in my bed, or in my mind. Relationships seem to come and go. It does not mean that they are not worth it. It does not mean that they don't teach you something. But please don't own your wife. Please don't own your child. Love is space. You can learn a lot from love, and that risk is always available to us. And it gives life colour and fulfilment. But let's get it for once, and for all. There is no such thing as a soulmate. There is no such thing at all. I don't know if I'm really just coming from my own terrible love life, or from my own great times in love, but it feels to me to be the truth. This too will pass, and I am ready right now to be in love forever. This is an extract from the book G You Are You by Krishna Prem. So, the first time I came to India, I was in Goa, and I was living under a cashew tree with my girlfriend Krishna Priya. We were really living au naturel, and the weather was just perfect, and the sky was full of stars. The sea was crashing at our knees. It was really, really natural and beautiful. Krishna Priya and I were having an ideal time, just being in love under the stars. And I don't know if you have ever been to India. Maybe you have been to Mexico. Maybe you remember Montezuma's Revenge. India has a very similar experience. Delhi belly and for the lack of better upbringing. I call it the shits. It comes from doing ordinary things like drinking a glass of water, and my God, life becomes a toilet. I don't know what to say. You just shit your pains out, you shit your emotions out, you become, for lack of a better word, shitty. And I think that one of the reasons relationships go to pot, at least in the East, is very simple. You drink the water and your life gets shitty. Anyway, Krishna Priya and I hadn't any awareness. We didn't know how to deal with this very much. We said we did not want to talk to each other about the situation. And one of the ways we dealt with this was to go to the local library and get books to read. She got this absolutely enormous book called The Autobiography of a Yogi by Yogananda. As I remember it, it had going on 1,000 pages. I preferred smaller books, and I got a book called Seeds of Revolutionary Thought by Acharya Rajneesh. Now, when I say this word Acharya to you, I think you may get the same basic idea. What the hell is the word Acharya? And when I don't understand a word, I just skip over it. In fact, in this situation, I did not have any relationship with the word or the man Rajneesh at that very moment. So I absolutely did not bother reading his name. I just picked up his little book, which was around 100 pages long. That was the book I got, and that was the book that changed my life. So basically, without saying anything, Krishna Priya turned over onto her side on the coconut mattress under the cashew tree, and I walked down to the beach to watch the sunset. I began to read this book, and it was really good. I loved it, I loved it, I loved it. Basically, it was just what the doctor ordered. I had put my lungi down and put my shoes between 2 pages and 3 so I would not lose my place. Went up to the chai shop and I got myself a pot of herbal tea. Certainly I could not drink coffee because I was already shitting. And certainly I couldn't take anything with caffeine at that moment. I say this because sometimes when I feel good at that point in my life, I might think about feeling even better. But when you are feeling lousy, you just want to clean up your act. Anyway, I can't really remember that far back. I know right now I am pretty much drug-free. But I am accentuating this remark because I did not want anything in my body that would make me sick. Therefore I was totally straight, and I went back to the sea, back to the book, back to my lungi. That little piece of material you wear around you, and then when you lay down on the sand it does not crack. The sand does not go up the crack of your bottom or wherever. At this point I put all my awareness into this one massive sailboat crossing the horizon, crossing just in front of the sunset, and in that very moment I became ecstatic. I have never been so happy in all my life. It was almost like I did it. It's probably like when a little child looks at his shit and says, "What a creation." Have you ever seen a little 3-year-old child looking at his own shit and saying, "I created that"? Well, that's how it felt with a massive sailboat in front of the sunset. I became ecstatic to the point where I disappeared. I disappeared from this known body, which at the time I had been living in for 30 years. I was just hanging out in existence. Quite a feeling, quite an experience. In this very moment I was not the body, I was not the mind, I was just presence. I hung out for a while until my mind came back and said, "What the fuck is going on with you?" And as soon as my mind reminded me that this was an unnatural act, I got really scared and I screamed, and I came back into my body and I just looked at the sky and I started to scream at the heavens. I said to God for the first time, "What the fuck just happened to me? This is a dirty trick. I'm not ready for this." I said, "I want to meet a man just like the one who wrote this book. I know for a fact that you are not going to talk to me. I know you are not going to come up and down and play with me because you never have. And the first time I have ever experienced you, it feels naughty. It feels like you pulled a dirty trick on me. So I need to meet a teacher, a guru, a master. Whatever it's called, I need to be able to relate to you through a living human being." Now, when you are in India and you just start screaming at the sky, it's very easy to have your first disciples. I was surrounded by fishermen's friends who I would help pull their boats up onto the beach after dark. They would always offer me a few fish in return, and I would just giggle because I was a vegetarian by now. They were very sweet, but now they were seeing something in me that I wasn't seeing in myself. In India it's very close. Being a madman and being a meditator is very close. being a madman and being a meditator is very close. I don't know if you know this, but often when someone gets enlightened, they don't invite you for a cup of tea. They immediately go into one of those deep silences which are so valuable in India, available in India. Or they enter a madhouse where there are no locks on the doors, and they begin to relate with the mad people because basically they are the only ones that want to talk to them. Mad people are the only ones that understand them. The difference between a madman and an enlightened being is that the madman does not have the consciousness and awareness and the guts to be himself. He has just gotten his mind to the point where it's easier for him to check out than to be present. That's about the only difference, and it's not really a big difference. Morning, Elizabeth. Morning, Susanna. Morning, Jenny. So here I am again in my known body, in my known mind, and I am just completely upset. My fishermen's friends really enjoyed seeing me scream at the sky, and afterwards they walked me into the water and they splashed water on me to take off all the sand off my body and cool me off. Because I was feeling hot, they were enjoying what they were doing, and the strength in their bodies when they moved me into the water was amazing. These little guys, these fishermen, every night and every morning push their very heavy boats in and out of the sea, and you can see that they push from the ground up. When I was helping them to push, I was pushing from the waist up. I think a lot of Americans, like myself, are very strong from the waist up, big arms and big chest. But in this part of the world, it's the other way round. They push from the very earth itself. It's a bit like the difference between a soccer player in Europe and a football player in America. They were extremely loving and gentle towards me, treating me almost as if it had already happened to them or to a friend of theirs. They were even surprised at this triad of words and this madness that was coming out of my mouth, insisting that God help me right now in my hour of need. They showed tremendous respect for my madness. I was simply pissed off that God pulled such a dirty trick on me. Fabulous book. G, You Are You by Krishna Prem. The life of a man living in the ashram with Osho in India, and how it changed him in every way. Morning, Simon. Thank you everybody for joining this morning. I'm going to pick a card for us all now. I'm not sure what the time is, so if anybody could kindly just let me know British time. I'm not sure where you all are tuning in from, but if anybody out there could let me know British time, that would be great. Because you may not realise, but after every morning video I have to go and do the school run. Comparison. Thank you, Simon. Comparison. Comparison brings inferiority, superiority. When you don't compare, all inferiority, all superiority disappears. When you are simply there, a small bush or a big high tree. It doesn't matter. You are yourself. You are needed. A grass leaf is needed as much as the biggest star. Without the grass leaf, God will be less than He is. This sound of the cuckoo is needed as much as any Buddha. The world will be less rich if this cuckoo disappears. Just look around, all is needed and everything fits together. It is an organic unity. Nobody is higher and nobody is lower. Nobody is superior, nobody inferior. Everybody is completely unique. Whoever told you that the bamboo is more beautiful than the oak, or the oak more valuable than the bamboo? Do you think the oak wishes it had a hollow trunk like this bamboo? Does the bamboo feel jealous of the oak because it is bigger and its leaves change colour in the fall? The very idea of the two trees comparing themselves to each other seems ridiculous. But we humans seem to find this habit very hard to break. Let's face it, there is always going to be someone who is more beautiful, more talented, stronger, more intelligent, or apparently happier than you are. And conversely, there will always be those who are less than you in all these ways. The way to find out who you are is not by comparing yourself with others, but by looking to see whether you are fulfilling your own potential in the best way that you know how. Morning, Lisa. Oh, look at that. Now it's bright in here because it's the morning and oh, thank you. I love the likes and hearts and everything. If anybody would like to ask me a question, I'd love to open the space for any questions or any discussion. Explosion of love on the screen with all the hearts, thank you. It's so sweet. So let's come back to this. I've shared some readings this morning. The Osho Zen Tarot for today is comparison. About not comparing, embracing our uniqueness, embracing who we are in our fullest, and being brave and courageous enough to be ourselves in a world that would like us to be something less, or would like us to fit a model. Good morning, Simon. Do I feel the supermoon has brought a lot of change in our energy? Interesting question. Well, there's no doubt that our environment is constantly affecting the way that we feel, think, our energy, our health, our well-being, because we are our environment essentially. There's very little boundary barrier between us and everything else around us. And from an energetic perspective, the fact that we are sort of 80%, maybe more than that, water, and the moon is always affecting the water on the planet. And water holds emotion and of course energy, but water does hold emotion, and so I would say that my feeling is that it would bring up a lot of emotion to the surface to clear, especially with those who are awakening and are moving through layers of conditioning and repressed emotion, and my feeling is it's bringing that up to the surface for us each to heal more. And this is a constant process. It's never ending actually in this physical body, to clear this stuff away, to work through it all, to give it attention, loving attention and compassion.
I mean, if you look at what's been going on over the last few weeks in the world, then you could say that the supermoon has brought change, or maybe the change was here and the supermoon will be deepening that change. And nothing is ever staying the same anyway. I think it's hard to pin it onto one particular thing, but certainly everything is having an effect on us. And the more we awaken, the more sensitive we are to life and everything around us. And so we don't feel our own stuff so much as we feel the collective melting pot of emotions. So the collective sadness, the collective joy, the collective despair, the collective challenges. The night of the elections, which I wasn't even aware of really until afterwards. My dreams were very disturbed. There was a lot of people coming and talking to me in my dreams and all through the night, and a sense of anxiety and stress and all these feelings I was feeling, but knowing that they weren't belonging to me, they were the collective of all the people that were involved and that were feeling the frustration with the situation. But our minds are very quick to judge with the outside appearances. So something looks good, looks bad, but there's always a higher purpose for everything that's happening, and we're not always able to see the depth of value of that, because our minds are too quick to go for the judgment of what something looks like and what form it takes. And the current president of the United States is an embodiment of a lot of the stuff that we don't like about ourselves, that we but at the same time we all contain aspects of that, because we are all our shadow and our light. So people judge someone that is maybe a fuller embodiment of a lot of the aspects of ourselves that we don't like, but actually we need to look at ourselves and what is within us and what we need to address, and notice that that other person is actually not that different. Some ways maybe, but at the core of it is they are a soul, they are love in form, they are playing a role as we all are in the world, and that role has a much bigger purpose than what it seems, and nothing is as it seems. So the judgments that we make are based on how things look at that particular moment, but of course everything is always changing, and everybody has lessons to learn here. We're all in a great karmic wheel of learning about ourselves, each other, life, what it means to be a unique expression, one of 7 billion expressions of love in the world. That's what we are. We're God in form, an expression of love. And we're not separate. And so when we judge someone for being a certain way, we have to look at what created that. Society, parents, pressures, education system, lack of education, so many things. And when somebody is moving through the world in a judgmental, maybe hateful way, again I'm using examples but it's not actually correct, it's their lack of love for themselves that creates that, because the relationship that we show with others, how we act towards others, is how we feel about ourselves.
And that goes for the president too. Anybody, you know. There's no difference really. It's just that some people have more high-profile jobs than others. But ultimately, how we treat other people is what we think and feel about ourselves, and it's nothing personal. Although when people get put in positions of power and in charge, then it can seem very personal, of course. And people will take it personally, and this is where the judgments come in. And what really needs to happen is people need to find love in their hearts for that person and send them love so that they can heal in a space of love and feel the love that they've been lacking. In a sense, they've never lacked it, but from the illusional perspective, they feel as if they have. They feel separate, and that's what creates anger and hate, is the feeling of separation, of not feeling loved. Wow, Simon, kind of I expanded quite a lot on that. I hope that answers your question. My feelings around it anyway. So let's take a minute now to come back here, present with each other in this sacred space that we've created this morning. Through aeons of time, all your lives have brought you here to this moment. We have all imagined ourselves here. We've imagined this, and so we've brought each other into being. So right now, this is where we all are, here, now, present. Nothing else is existing, nothing else is happening. There is no past, no future, only this. Feel that. Feel the truth of that. Feel what's real right here, right now. Notice in presence. There are no worries, no concerns about anything, no stresses, nowhere to go, nothing to do. Simply being here with life exactly as it is. Being with the breath. Closing your eyes if you'd like to. Bringing ourselves to that place of stillness and silence that we all know, we all recognise. Place within us that is home. A place where no judgments, no ideas, no concepts. Only truth exists.
place of the witness. Watching everything that's happening. I'm watching the clouds right now as the sun comes beaming through the cracks in the clouds. Feeling the movement of the clouds as the movement of myself. And the birds move like passing thoughts through the sky. Graceful, beautiful. Have a blessed, blessed day, all of you. Be in your truth. Show love to all those that need it, and especially yourself. Namaste. Thank you for giving yourselves this space this morning. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti.